Let's go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. This one's explosive. God damn, you know I'm here. You know I'm here. I'm in the present right now. I am here. I am in the moment. I am in the present. I am here with you. And this is a flight, the message from the flight deck. And you are on the Flight Sunday brunch with your boy J.F.K. Good morning, people. Throw your carry-ons up in the storage compartments. And if you have a backpack, throw it underneath the seat. But before you do, take out your Cliff Bars. If you have some Nestle's, some Reese's, take that out too. Whatever snacks you have, vapes, nips, whatever your vice might be, throw your trays up. Because I'm about to take you up to 39,000 feet. And remember, turbulence in the chat keeps the plane rocking. And let's populate them goals to keep the conversation moving. Let's go. I go by the name of JFK. It's Sunday. If you didn't work out today, make sure you work out today. Start your week off strong. Did anybody tell you they love you today? Did anybody tell you they love you today? Did anybody tell you they love you today? Well, I go by the name of JFK, and I love all y'all. Long gamers, all my people that are watching. We've been busy over here on the JFK channel. I want to give a big shout out to my man Jay Brilliant. He's working too. Give a peace sign up to my man Kevy Kev 781. Anybody who sent me any information on this case that goes back 30 years. We're number 3 on the runway.
I just wanna chill and twist the lie.
Let's go, people. Cat, what up? This ain't a wait. I provide everything you need, and I like your smile. I don't wanna see you. Becky G, what up? Some questions that I gotta ask, and I hope you can come up with the answers. Let's go. It's easy to love me now. Yep. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me, girl? It's easy to love me now. Now, would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me? If I fell off tomorrow, would you still love me? If I didn't smell so good, would you still hug me? If I got locked up and Renee, hold your head up, girl. Could I count on you to be there to support me mentally? If I went back to a hoopty from a Benz, would you poof and disappear like some of my friends? If I was hit and I was hurt, would you be by my side? If it was time to put in work, would you be down to ride? I get out and peel a brother cap, chill and dry. I'm asking questions to find out how you feel inside. If I ain't rap cause I flip burgers at Burger King, would you be ashamed to tell your friends you're feeling me? In the bed if I use my tongue, would you like that? If I wrote you a love letter, would you write back? Now we could have a little drink, you know, a nightcap, and we could go do what you like. I know you like that. Ladies, fellas, how we doing? You're alive. You were here today. Let's go. Like that, girl, it's easy to love me now. Oh, now, would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me, girl? It's easy to love me now. Would you love me now? Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me, people? I know my long gamers will hold me down. Of course, every time, all the time, I could count on y'all. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me? Now would you leave me if your father found out I was thugging? Do you believe me when I tell you you the one I'm loving? Are you mad cause I'm asking you 21 questions? Are you my soulmate? Cause if so, girl, you a blessing. Do you trust me enough to tell me your dreams. I'm staring at you, trying to figure how you got in them jeans. If I was down, would you say things to make me smile? I'll treat you how you wanna be treated, just teach me how. If I was with some other chick and someone happened to see, and when you asked me about it, I said it wasn't me, would you believe me or up and leave me? How deep is our bond if that's all it takes for you to be gone? We only humans, girl, we make mistakes to make it up, I'll do whatever it takes. I love you like a fat kid love cake. You know my style, I say anything to make you smile, girl.
Woo! What are we doing here? What are we doing? It's Sunday morning. Actually, it's Sunday afternoon. We're creeping on the 12 p.m. hour. Sunday, November 9th, 2025. Ladies, fellas, how we feeling? What are we eating? Grab yourself some eggs. Grab yourself some lemon pancakes. Fuck it, go grab yourself a jelly donut and a hot coffee. Feel the vibes. Feel the season. Look at the coffee cup. Wow, it has Santa Claus on it. We are creeping up to Santa Claus time. Would you believe it? Wow, let's go.
It's easy to love me now. Oh no, would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me, girl? It's easy to love me now. Oh, would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me, girl? Could you love me in a Bentley? Could you love me on a bus? I'll ask 21 questions, and they all about us. Could you love me in a Bentley? Could you love me on a bus? I'll ask 21 questions, and they all about us. Ooh.
They all about us. Renee, I'm sorry, I'm talking about food you can't eat. I know, Renee, they got you on that bag, huh? Just feeding you that stuff, eating ice chips. I'm sorry, girl. Sorry to hear that. Can we address to right Eddie and let him know are we working? I think Miss 808 has the address. If you could throw it up, if someone could throw up his address, it's in God and Mass. My mods. Peace to my mods. They're always working too. Always working, my mods. Natalie, she's working too. What the duck? Norman Corey, making changes. For sure, for sure. She got to give her a sec. Miss 808 on the check-in. Man, mods are awesome. They are. They're pretty wonderful. And you're working too, Kat. I appreciate you. Kat's been sending me some stuff. Um, she actually just sent me a Paul Downing interview. Would you believe it? I have a Paul Downing interview. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. But Paul Downing, who is the son of Janet Downing, of this horrific murder back 30 years ago, people. 30 years ago. Would you believe that we're talking about something that happened 30 years, corruption? A DA who stepped in. The take home point that I got from last night, one of the major things, not just the DNA that didn't match. Underneath Janet's fingernail, there was an unidentified DNA underneath her fingernail that did not match Eddie O'Brien, who's been in jail for 30 years, 15 years old when he got locked up. That did not match him. They only made a match with him. They only checked his DNA and it didn't make a match with him. But they never ran it through a database called Avis to see if it matched anybody else. And the DA, Thomas Riley at the time, was running for Attorney General. Governor Welch just popped into office and they wanted a revised juvenile law. Would you believe that Thomas Riley actually showed up to the scene in Somerville with the CPAC unit, the same CPAC unit, state police, state troopers, Massachusetts state police, who popped up that day, that night, that morning, should I say, on 34 Fairview and found taillights, 42 pieces of them, and a sneaker and a hat and all that bullshit. Do you remember that CPAC unit? Yeah, it's funny, that CPAC unit. Nothing has changed with them shady individuals, but main thing, Thomas Riley, when Eddie O'Brien actually went for a bail reduction in his first transfer hearing, it's funny because that's the time I think I seen him in Cambridge. Sorry for the pause because I seen him in Cambridge in '97. He was serving pancakes up there in the kitchen, and I always wondered how did he end up there, right? So what happened was he must have went through the transfer hearing, and he got bounded over, and so they put him on a bail, right? So that's how he ended up in Cambridge. They probably raised his bail or something like that, um, or adjusted his bail. And then he went to bail reduction, and they dropped the bail. But once they rearranged him in superior court, now they arraigned him as an adult at 17, which is crazy. So that's how he ended up in Cambridge jail. So be clear, at 17 years old back in the 90s, you were an adult. You could go to jail. You wasn't old enough to vote. You wasn't old enough to do anything else, but you were old enough to go to prison. How crazy is that? You know? 17 years old, you could go to prison. So he must have got a bail, I'm thinking. And anybody who watched last night, Margot Nash, she wrote the book Politics of Murder, the altar boy killing, um, the politics of murder. It's on Amazon right now. We can throw up the link. Um, the book's out. It's on Amazon. She actually was his guardian through the whole trial of Eddie O'Brien when he was 15 years old. She acted as a guardian to him to get him through the process because he was a juvenile. But when I ran into Eddie in Cambridge, I always wondered how he ended up there. And so that's what happened. He had a bail reduction. They dropped the bail, and a judge was going to let him out. So when he was in Cambridge, he was on a high, right? Because he was going to get let go on the bracelet. And they were figuring out a way to get the bail together. And then all of a sudden, Thomas Riley, the DA, steps in, goes to the higher courts in Boston, and throws a monkey wrench in it and overturns it to keep him locked up. So that was a huge take home point that a DA, the official DA in that county, steps in, overrides a judge's decision to let him go on bail for murder one. So it's back to the political aspect of this. Politics of murder, politics as usual in Massachusetts, 30 years. It's been going on for a long, long time. And this is nothing that you have ever seen because in the end, let's be clear, Janet was murdered brutally, stabbed way too many times. She was beat up really bad, we found out. She was dragged and beat up all through the house. She fought for her life. And she has male DNA, unidentified DNA, underneath her fingernail that never was ran through the Avis database. What? Is there some shady stuff going on when you think about Eddie, when you think about how he ran out the house, ran to a Burger King, then he gets jumped in Union Square. Then he goes to his work at Midnight Variety, never tells his boss he just seen Janet on the dining room floor. I thought it was the kitchen floor. We found out last night it was actually the dining room floor. He never said anything. Is there shady things to think about? Yeah, of course. But can you overlook the fact there's unidentified DNA underneath her fingernail? Unidentified? And let's talk about Artie. He was the cab driver. He showed up to the scene. He parked on Hamlet Street, which is a street right on the side of the house. This is Hamlet Street, people.
So today is November 8th.
That's the house. That's where it all went down. That's the house. He was parked on Hamlet Street, the street that goes down the hill. He was parked over here. This is where Eddie came out the bushes. So this is where the cab would have been parked on this side street. And this is where his friends would have seen him when he hopped out the bushes. And the house is right. So Eddie comes running out of these bushes. He comes out the cellar. There was bushes there at the time in 1995. We learned that last night. And this is the house. So he jumped down these little cement walls. And if he was scared, I mean, he had scratches on his legs, right? Too. I mean, that would explain scratches on his legs. Them walls are they're what, like 3 feet? And if you're running full speed, 200 pounds, big guy. Huh. It's the story of Eddie, summer of 1995.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world, but you hear. Let's take it back 30 years. Let's go, people.
Yeah. Summer of 1995, hot night in July. Why did Janet have to die? This is the story of Eddie, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The system is petty, juvenile law and politics so deadly. 15 years old, known as Big Lovable Teddy. Janet Downing, 42 years old, what's the motive? Killed in her home, young mother devoted. Eddie went in the house, the door was open. She was on the kitchen floor, laying there frozen. Eddie claims this was not what he planned to see. A man with a mask grabbed him. Be quiet. I will kill your whole family. Eddie left the house, ran up the street. Around the corner, washed up in the bathroom at Burger King. Janet was stabbed multiple times. Rest in peace. It was a gruesome murder scene. I agree. Eddie went to his work, said he got jumped, but never said a thing. What? About Janet lying there lifeless, his friend's mother from across the street. Shh. He was in the house. But Janet had a brother-in-law she kicked out for selling drugs. Said if anything ever happened to her, it's him you bring up. The night of the murder, he showed up, was acting suspicious in the front yard. Gina in Virginia says he was looking for his keys. It was humid and muggy, but we were showered and neat. He was a cab driver looking for his key. Looking for a key to one of the cabs in the fleet. Yes. How did he know something happened on that street? Eddie says he is innocent, and the cab driver did it.
Who do you believe?
Believe.
DNA under Janet's fingernail, unidentified. Who do you believe?
Come on, come on.
This is the story of Eddie, 15 years old.
Life in prison.
This is the story of Janet, life taken and stolen.
For no reason.
It was the summer,
July 1995.
do you all remember?
30 years ago, why she have to die?
15 years old, locked in a cage of murder that he always denied.
Let's go. Summer of 95. Life goes by. Welcome to the stream. Long gamers. Peace and love. La la la. Let's take them back.
I mean, it's spooky. I mean, I see Jay Dams in here saying that strong opinion. Jay Dams is saying he said he got jumped by an Hispanic black guy's his words in broad daylight. That story was never proved to have happened. Get the out of here, Eddie. Never happened. Great exposure. Well, the fact is this, though, Jay Dams, right? If there is unidentified DNA underneath their fingernail and they never ran it through the Avis and we have a lawyer who was on here for 40 years saying that this is the truth, then let's run that DNA. What's it going to say? That's the whole thing. Now, unless I'm missing something and unless there's another layer to this that I don't know, and it possibly could be, but based on what I've seen so far, I haven't seen that other layer. But if it's not being explained right to me or someone's embellishing a little bit, then I'll understand. But as of right now, what's going on with this DNA? That's all. It's a fair question. I would say. Renee is still in ICU. She's eating ice chips and Gatorade and soup. Renee, you got to get better. You got to fight. You got to get up. Keep pushing. I'm in your headphones. I'm on your phone right now. You're listening. Listen to you. Listen to me when I say that you're here. You're still here. You're going to make it through this bullshit. You're going to be up on your feet and everything's going to be all right. Everybody in the chat is saying the same thing. The power of all of us, we want to give to you today, right now, in the moment, and you're going to be good. Trust and believe that. Man, I mean, that's the thing about this case. This case 30 years ago, the way she died, it was so personal. Stabbed over 90 times, the bra situation, beat up, random is, just a random killing, no motive. They're saying he was infatuated with her, but that really doesn't add up because she wasn't sexually assaulted. And here's a question. I was talking to, I don't know if this matters. You know what? I'm not even going to say it. Hmm. Well, breaking news. Breaking news. I'll tell you this. This is unraveling really fast. Just give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Just got to do a couple things. About to get a phone call by Gina, who was there that night with Artie. I need everybody to grab their popcorn. Need you to email your friends. This is getting crazy. Give me 1 second. I could set something up, people. I'm working too. Jay Brilliant. I mean, this guy, he's been doing wonderful work. Met him. I just want to give a big shout out to him. Met him at my show, a little podcast, the over there in Malden. Big guy. He choke slammed a couple of people through some tables, and he's very invested in this. So give a shout out to Jay working behind the scenes. Last night was his first night ever on the panel. Hopefully we can get him on the panel more. It's tough coming up here. But yeah, give me a second, guys. Give me 1 second too, Jay, all right? I just got to do something. 1 second.
Hello?
Can I speak to Gina?
Who's calling?
This is JFK from the JFK show.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, can everybody hear out there?
Can everybody hear out here? Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
No,
I'm a dinosaur, honey. My granddaughter's got a cell phone. She's looking at it.
I just want to say before we start, you're live on the JFK stream. So you're live right now on the live stream. There's about 160 people watching you. There's a live chat. I just want to let you know before we go any further.
Oh, please, I hope they're not looking at me. I'm
No.
sitting here looking like the Wrath of Jehovah.
Nah, they can't see you, obviously.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've been going over the Eddie O'Brien case, and 30 years back, we talked to Adi. We actually talked to Margot yesterday.
Margot, yeah.
So what could you tell us about that day of Janet's passing? And first and foremost, I want to say sorry for your loss with Janet. That was hard.
Thank you. Thank you, because that seems to get lost in the whole thing.
Right.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Because we all lost Janet.
So Janet was your good friend, I take it.
Well, I'd known her a very long time. It wasn't like we were close. I had known her since we were in our teens. And then people get married and go their own way. And then when she bought the house across the street, it was like, oh, wow. But we had different circles of friends. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But we were really close as neighbors, yes.
Wow. So that day, that fateful day in July, it was a hot, muggy day, correct?
Oh, it was horrible. We had it had been that way for over a week, yeah.
Wow.
It was horrible. I mean, and back then, nobody had air conditioners. If you had an air conditioner, you had one in your bedroom, and that was it. So it was like a horror show.
Right. So it's a hot day, very hot day, hot week in Somerville.
Mm-hmm.
And Janet comes by that day during the day. She talks to you that day, right?
I always had my coffee in the morning on Sunday mornings out on the front porch because I read every newspaper back to back and did crossword puzzles and all that. So I always headed to the front porch in the morning.
Right.
And I was out there about 6:30, and then just around 7 o'clock, Janet came out of the house and said, "I'm going to Dunkin's. Do you want coffee?" I said, "No, I got coffee." So off she went on her merry little way. And when she came back, she came to my house instead of going to her own. You know, she parked in her driveway, but instead of going in her own house, she came across the street.
Right.
And we were together until about 5.
Wow.
A little after. And that's when she went grocery shopping down Market Basket.
Market Basket in Charlestown?
No, in Somerville.
Oh,
right down here on Somerville Ave, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Market Basket by the projects, right? By the Fellsway?
No. That's a Stop and Shop. No, Market Basket is near Union Square, right down the hill from us.
What was the supermarket right there by the projects by Tufts University? What was that? Was that
Tufts?
Was that a Food Master?
Yes, it was. Now it's a Stop and Shop, but yes, up by the North Street projects, up by the Arlington line.
Yeah.
She didn't go there. She went right. I mean, I can spit a buffalo and hit Market Basket.
Oh, God damn. Yes.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, shit.
I gotta watch what
Nah,
I
that's
say.
all right. You can say whatever you want, man, and that's good. I'm glad that you put in light to a very it's been 30 years and we have fun on this channel. It's a YouTube channel.
Well, the thing was, back then, the grocery stores, yes, they were open on Sunday, but they closed at 6 o'clock on Sundays. And I had sent, when Janet left, I had sent my daughter down to Market Basket in my car to pick up steak. I was making salad, and I was going to have my husband grill steak. And so she was down there. Her and Janet were down there in when the PA system said the store will be closing in 15 minutes. Please make your way to the registers. And her and Janet were in different lines at the same time down at Market Basket.
Mm. So that day when you sat and drank your coffee,
Yeah.
what was she telling you? She told you about this guy Adi, right?
It started off that she was afraid she was going to lose her job.
Mm.
And she knew that I was involved with the union when I worked for Verizon. So she said, I don't know what to do. I'm afraid, And I said, well, why do you think you're going to lose it? She said, because they're eliminating my position, but they're making it difficult for me to apply for a different position. And she said, they're not giving me good reviews and this and that. I said, well, go get me your reviews. Let me look at them. And I said, if you've got older ones, bring them too. So she did. She brought them over to me. She went in the house and got them, brought them over. And she said, I read them, and she was right. They were trying to squeeze her out because things that they praised her for in earlier reviews were suddenly detrimental in the latest reviews, when she was bidding for different jobs to replace hers.
Okay.
And I said, you got a grievance here, And she said, I do. And I said, yeah. And I said, I'll write it up for you. So she said, oh, all right. So that's what I was going to do that night, write up a grievance for her so that she could take that to HR, where she worked. And she said, I'm scared, Gina. And I said, about what? And she said, I don't want them to find out I lied. I said, what do you mean? She lied about graduating high school. I said, Janet, 20 some odd years later, they're not going to look back to see if you graduated high school. So she said, already, do you think so? I said, yeah. I said that they're trying to squeeze you out based on performance. I said, they're not even thinking about that. So she said, okay. So that's where we left that subject. And that's when she started to, I said, how's Kerry doing? Because Kerry's her oldest daughter, she had issues. And she said, oh, she's doing all right. And then she started talking about Addie. And she said, can you tell me something? Have you seen Addie near my house? And I said, his cab's in your driveway every day. She said, it is? I said, yeah. She said, told me he lost the keys. She said, when I told them they had to leave, he told me he lost the keys. She said, and I've come home and found him in my house. And he tells me the kids let him in, but the kids aren't there. So I said, Janet, he's in your driveway every day. The cab is there for periods of time every day. And she said, let me tell you about things. So she told me about Christmas ornaments suddenly appearing, out of storage, because, it certainly wasn't Christmas time. It was July. And she said that one of Erin's nightgowns disappeared and then reappeared in another room of the house. And then she said, wait a minute, let me go get this. And so she went across the street. She came back, and she had a paperback book. And it was one of those self-help things that was how to cope after a divorce or something to that. I don't know what the real title was, but that was the basis of it. And she said, I keep this beside my bed. I read a little bit of it every night. And she said, and it disappeared. And I said, okay. And I said, well, where'd you get it? And she said, Addie came up to her in the parking lot at her work and gave it to her and said, I found this in a parking lot somewhere and I knew it was yours. Really? I said, well, that's a little creepy. And she said, yeah. She said, because I don't take it out of the house, so I couldn't have dropped it in any parking lot. It stays beside my bed. And then she said, there was another night when earlier during the cold time, during the winter, that she was driving. She came out of work. She was driving home, and all of a sudden there was a green cab behind her, a green cab in front of her, and a green cab beside her. She was boxed in by green cabs, and they were flashing their lights and beeping their horn. They scared the hell out of her. And then they all drove off. They did that for about 5 minutes along the road.
Was Adi in one of the cabs?
She couldn't tell who was in what cab. She just was surrounded by the cabs. She couldn't tell who was in them.
So this is
That's
hours before. So
that was months before.
No, I'm saying this was hours before she was telling you this, hours before she gets.
Oh yeah, she spent the last 10 or more of the last 12 hours of her life with me. From 7 o'clock in the morning until about 5:15 at night.
So the murder took place what, at 8:15? Is that correct?
That's what they did. Yeah, I think they said around 8:30. They weren't clear.
Right.
But, and like I said, we had talked about Kerry, and
now, are you the one that said that? Are you the one that said that she said, if anything happens to me, and she banged with conviction? Can you explain that?
She said to me, she made a fist and she slammed it into her palm, into her other palm, 3 times. Every time she said, I won't, Gina, if no matter what happens, if it's an accident, investigate. And she said, and I would never, ever kill myself. So if that's what it looks like, if something happens to me and that's what it looks like, she did the same 3 pounds with her hand. Investigate.
Wow.
And she said, she said the cab thing. That's when she told me about the cab thing scaring her. She said, so if it's an accident, really look into it, because she was thinking that when they did that surrounder with the cabs, that could have caused an accident, And so she was, if it looks like an accident, investigate. If it looks like a suicide, she said, please stay on, everybody. I said, I will. I promise.
Now, what was your reaction to all this when she's telling you about the guy Artie? Now, she didn't like this guy Artie, right? And is that your take on it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she was afraid of him more so than dislike. Janet was a timid soul. She didn't dislike anyway. She gave everybody the benefit of the doubt. Everybody. But she was such a timid soul that a raised voice was violence to Janet. You know what I mean? It was frightening to her. That's why whenever she had an issue with Kerry, over the years, that's why Janet would always call the police. Before it became physical, the raised voice, the screaming, the nasty talk, whatever, that to Janet was the beginning of violence. So she would call the police.
Talking about with who? Her
That's
daughter?
why
With her daughter?
But Kerry hadn't lived there for years.
Okay, so she would have fights with her daughter all the time.
Yeah. Poor soul. I mean, Kerry has issues. She has mental issues, and she also had a drug problem at the time.
I understand.
But
That happens, right? It happens to the best of us.
I don't know any. I don't know any family that it hasn't touched in some way, shape, or form.
Right?
Whether it's alcohol or whatever other substance, everybody's been touched by it in some way, or shape, or form.
You know the saying, right? I don't hate the addict, I hate the disease, right?
I hate the disease. Exactly. I lost my own daughter. My oldest daughter
Oh,
was an addict.
I'm so sorry
I
to hear
lost
that.
her.
I'm sorry, Judy. You've been through a lot, huh, girl?
Well, you learn to roll with it, kid. You learn to roll.
Yes, indeed, indeed. So here we are, right? So she's saying that she's afraid of Artie. You said that she gave everybody the benefit of the doubt, but she was afraid of
And
this guy Artie.
yeah, and I said to her, just because I'm not afraid of Hattie, and I'm old Somerville. I'll knock you out as quick as look at you. And I mean, really, I mean, if you put a threat on somebody I care about, I'm gonna I'm old Somerville. And I said to her, all you got to do is call me. If he's in that house and you encounter him, call me. He won't be in the house long.
Absolutely.
And it just, if you're afraid of him, just call me. Yeah, I'll make him go away. And she really was afraid.
Yeah.
And she said, just if anything happens to me, please, and make sure they investigate. And she emphasized that with the fist to the palm of the hand every single time she said it.
So let me just stop you right there. So when after the murder takes place, right? When did you speak to the police, and were you trying to tell the police this story that you told me the night of or the next day? Were you trying to tell this story to them in 1995 in that moment?
Oh yeah. In the night of, I was on my couch watching. HBO had a thing about Attica. You know, the riot in Attica,
Yep.
and the doors between my den's in the back of the house, but the door between my den and my dining room and my parlor were open, so I could see right out the front door. And just as the riot broke out in Attica, and their lights were flashing and their sirens were going, I realized I wasn't just seeing it on TV; it was out front.
Wow.
And I said, Arthur, there's all kinds of cops and fire engines out front. So my husband and I went out, and only because we had been talking about Kerry and her old time outbursts, I thought it was Kerry. I thought maybe Kerry came and then, Janet called the cops. And I marched right by the cops that was standing in Janet's walkway and into the house where the EMTs were working on Janet.
Oh.
I just marched right in. Like I said, I thought it was Kerry, and I was going to yank Kerry out of there.
Right.
And it wasn't Kerry. I realized, oh my God. And I just turned around and came back. And none of the cops challenged me. Nobody challenged me. Nobody said, where are you going? What are you doing? Hi, hello, kiss my ass, or anything.
Right.
And
So when was you
I
questioned?
came back and I said to my husband, it's really bad, because I saw the blood.
Yeah.
I said, it's really bad. Janet's really hurt.
Shit.
And the next day, two cops came,
Yeah.
two detectives, and they asked me a couple of questions. When was the last time you saw Janet? I said, she was here the whole day. And he said, well, when was the last? I said, she left about 5:15. Now, I'm not an investigator. I'm not a cop, but I have watched Law and Order. The next question's going to be, was she with anyone, or do you know where she was going?
Right.
In every episode of Law and Order, that happens.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. They were done. That's all they needed.
So you never got a chance to say about the Artie situation or anything?
Nope. I called and I called and I called the police station over and over and over, and nope.
So let me ask you this. So now,
They kept telling me they had enough information about the case.
wow. So, all right. So you leave there. You leave. You see Janet. She's down. She's hurt bad, real bad. You go across the street.
Actually, I didn't see her herself. I saw the EMTs all around her and the blood everywhere.
Yeah. So you knew it was really bad. Um.
Yeah.
So you go across the street. So let me ask you this: how old were your daughters at this time?
Danny, how old were you? 17. That's right, 17.
So wait a minute. So she was 17, and how old was your
Yeah.
other daughter?
And Tara's 5 years older than her, so however old that is, I don't
Right.
do math.
Like 21.
There you go.
22. Yeah. So Adi was hanging out with your 17-year-old daughter back in when he was 30 years old.
Actually, Addie was the pot provider
He was the pot provider. So
back then with
so
all of them, with everybody. Yeah.
have you watched the show by any chance? Have you watched my show?
No.
Okay, we had Adi.
I watch. I'm stuck on PBS and British.
That's
I'm
all right.
ancient, honey.
Yeah,
I'm ancient.
Nah, come on. You're still.
I've never seen a podcast in my life.
Well, you're on one now. You're on a live stream. You're in the future. Welcome to the future.
Even the shows that I like on TV, some of them will say, "Stay tuned afterward for the pod." I don't.
Right.
you know.
So
okay, I saw the show. I'm done. You know.
Mhm. So we had Adi on the show, and Adi said that why would Gina, if she knew all these things about me, why would she have me around her daughters? We found out he was 31.
Well, that night, everybody things that I recalled. That night was such chaos, and so we were also worried about the kids, about that. I didn't realize when looking at him that night that he looked as fresh as a daisy. Like the rest of us looked like, used toilet paper. We were so wilted. And and here he was, like he just stepped out of the shower. I didn't notice that night. I noticed, but it didn't register as suspicious about his cab being parked the wrong way at the top of the hill where nobody ever parked, and was surrounded by the ambulance, the fire trucks, the police cars.
Now he said when he showed up, the ambulance was already gone.
No. They were still working on Janet in the house.
So when he was there, when he showed up and talked to you, so how did he pop up? Like he just popped up out of nowhere?
He just came. Yeah, he came from like the other side of the street from where his cab was parked, and came bouncing across the street, and said to me, "Can I use your phone?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Where did you come from?" He said, "My dispatcher called me, and told me my sister-in-law got murdered." Now, like I said, they were still working on Janet in the house. And I just looked at him like that didn't register that night because there was too much going on.
Of course.
And
she hung up. You hit the wrong button, Janet. God damn, Janet. The fuck just happened? Hold on a second, guys. Let me get her back. Hold on.
looks like I'm all tied up, but I'll get to you as quick as possible.
Please leave a message after the tone, then press pound. To record your
Her phone must have died, ladies and gentlemen. God damn, Gina. Oh, shit. Damn, people. Your man JFK's working too. That was getting good, huh, guys? Well, I think her phone just died, ladies and gentlemen. She didn't lose a signal. Her phone died. She probably didn't check. I mean, she's an older woman. She's a great woman. Sounds like real. I like her spice, old school. Um, Somerville. People that are not familiar with the area is Somerville. It's probably about 10 minutes away from Boston. Basically, is Boston, if you ask me. I mean, certain parts of Somerville border Boston. Um, you know, go right into Charlestown from Somerville, right around the Assembly Square area, which is not too far from where they are. Union Square is up the street a little bit. But yeah, city, Orange Line, buses. It's definitely a city. It's busy. If you've never been to the city of Boston, you wouldn't even know the difference between Somerville, Massachusetts, and the city of Boston. It's just another extension city in Massachusetts. And these are the type of people that came from there. Tough people. Tough. Tough. That's why when you see these other people from these other states covering this Massachusetts stuff, you know, I got nothing against people from Fall River or Canton or Dedham or people around that area. Don't get me wrong, Norfolk County, but it's different in the South Shore than it is around that area. It's not really the North Shore, it's Metro. It's right around the metro region of Boston, Everett, Malden, Revere, Somerville, Charlestown, Dorchester, Southie. Lynn is not too far from there either, obviously. And so it all connects, but in that area, it's just a different energy than the people from in the South Shore. It just is what it is. It's always been that way. And just like it's different from the people who live out in Central Mass, Worcester, Fitchburg, and then people who live in Western Mass, Springfield, Holyoke, Pittsfield, things like that. It's just different. And then you have the Lawrence kids and the Haverhill kids who live deep in Essex County, and they have a different vibe about them. The Haverhill kids, like my man Jay Brilliant, they don't fuck around. They're not biased. They have a different energy about them. So it's just the way it is. It's not anybody's better than anybody else. But this right here is just a tough, tough inner city woman that don't take no shit. And why would she lie? Why would she lie? You know, why would she lie? She doesn't seem like she's lying to me. She worked for Verizon. And there's another thing, right? Let's talk about these people who had houses, right? You know, this wasn't just because they had a neighborhood and they talked a certain way. Keep in mind, Eddie, Big Ed, he had his son in Catholic school. They were married, generational stuff, right? They're still married to this day, Big Ed and his wife. They're still married. They had money, they had a house, they had that fairy tale, right? Type life. And Gina, right across the street, she had her own house and she worked for Verizon. These are not people who were in, and don't get me wrong, disclaimer, it's nothing wrong with being poor. But I'm sure they came from rough times, but they figured their way out of it. And they were living that life, right? Living in the neighborhood. Neighborhood kids had a house, had jobs, right? So I'm not saying that that makes them better than anybody. Disclaimer. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is these are not people who have any reason to lie. Here we are 30 years later. All I'm trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, is paint a picture to what was going on 30 years ago in 1995 and before that, where these people come from, who these people are. All we get is you parked the car in the Harvard yard. You don't say your Oz, the Red Sox. Everything is Boston to the outsiders. But that's not true. Not everything is Boston. Not everybody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. This is Somerville, Massachusetts. There's a difference. This area we're talking about, it's a different type of energy. These people, the way they grew up, it's different. That's what the movies are made of when you see these movies in Boston, The Town, and all these different movies about the inner cities, Good Will Hunting, like the inner workings of how these kids were brought up. Tough times. People who made it out the 60s and the 50s and then got their lives together in the 90s so they can have good families and, do better for their family and have a family and be married and live the dream. The neighborhood. That's what it was like. It wasn't like some of these other people who talk about they're from Boston or they throw Massachusetts around or, they don't even know the history of it because they weren't there. They weren't there. They never even came by there. To get to where I'm talking about, they got to drive an hour. 1 hour. Not 15 minutes, not 20 minutes. 1 hour to get to this area. So they never experienced it. And that's not a bad thing. That's okay. That's not me knocking anybody. But I'm trying to tell you that I was there. And that doesn't make me better than anybody, but I'm saying I was there. So I know how the inner cities, the DYS, the jail, the institution, the deaf, the way people move around these areas. It's a different energy. That's all. And I'm trying to describe it the best I can. And GINA is a prime example of what that area consists of. Give me a second, guys.
Yeah. Yo. Summer of 1995, hot night in July. Why did Janet have to die? This is the story of Eddie, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The system is petty, juvenile law and politics so deadly. 15 years old, known as Big Lovable Teddy. Janet Downing, 42 years old, what's the motive? Killed in her home, young mother devoted. Eddie went in the house, the door was open. She was on the kitchen floor, laying there frozen. Eddie claims this was not what he planned to see. A man with a mask grabbed him. Be quiet. I will kill your whole family. Eddie left the house, ran up the street. Around the corner, washed up in the bathroom at Burger King. Janet was stabbed multiple times. Rest in peace. It was a gruesome murder scene. I agree. Eddie went to his work, said he got jumped, but never said a thing. What? About Janet lying there lifeless, his friend's mother from across the street. Shh. He was in the house. But Janet had a brother-in-law she kicked out for selling drugs. Said if anything ever happened to her, it's him you bring up. The night of the murder, he showed up, was acting suspicious in the front yard. Gina in Virginia says he was looking for his keys. It was humid and muggy, but we were showered and neat. He was a cab driver looking for his key. Looking for...
Hello? No, but this is her daughter. Hold on 1 second. I'll bring you right into her.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We were trying to get a hold of you.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I understand.
All right, hold on 1 second, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's him.
It's me.
Oh, hi.
Gina, what
Hi.
happened?
What happened?
I don't know. Your phone died. Did your phone die?
No, I was on a landline.
Oh, you
I'm
was
a
on a-
Verizon customer. Nobody does. We don't die.
I just want to say again,
Now I'm on a cell phone,
well, I don't know what
which
happened.
is probably putting rays into my head and killing me.
I have no idea what happened. Maybe it was on my end then. Maybe it was on my, I just want to
And
say
it was my daughter and my granddaughter that said, "Shut up talking, Ma. You're disconnected," because
Oh.
they're listening on.
Oh, they're listening.
Yeah.
I just want to say real quick, you're live again. I just want to put that out there. You're live with JFK on the JFK live stream, and you're aware of that, right?
And yep. And
Okay.
everybody now knows I'm a dope and don't know how to use a cell phone. And
That's all good. So,
but, I mean,
so let's.
I don't even remember where we were.
No, I remember. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm
Oh,
here for.
good.
So he comes walking across the street, right? And
Yep.
she was being she hasn't been taken out yet. They were still working on her, right? And he comes
They were
walking.
still working on her.
And he
Yeah,
comes walking across the street, and at the time, you didn't know he was so fresh and so clean. But as you thought about it the next day, because so much stuff was going on, you realize, wow, everybody, we're all looking crazy in this crazy heat wave, and here he is, looking like $1 million. That's where we was at.
exactly, exactly. And like I said, because everybody was so in chaos, things you noticed you didn't notice as suspicious at the time. It was only afterward. In fact, when the year, days later and everything through the investigation, Ed and Trish thought Pat's toe was lying about towing the cab away, but my husband, who just is very quiet, and said, "Well, it wasn't Pat's toe. It was Phil's toe that took the cab." Now we didn't know that Pat's toe had the city towing contract, so that's why we assumed it was them. And it was Arthur that told us, no, it was Phil's toe that took the cab.
What would be the
Things
what
like that
what would
that
be
you
the
didn't
difference?
notice at the
What would
time.
what would be the difference though? Is there a difference there?
The only reason we would talk about that was in our minds, the murder weapon and the bloody clothes got towed away in that cab because Artie couldn't find the keys to that cab. Twice he tried to run into Janet's backyard
So you
to
seen him
look for his keys.
you seen him go across the street in that back. He claims he never went to that front yard.
Yeah, he did. He tried to. He tried, but the cops stopped him. He got halfway across the one part of the lawn, and the cop said, "No, no, you got to get out. You can't come in here." And he said, "I got to find my keys." And the cop said, "If we find keys, we'll give them to you. You got to get out right now."
That sounds exactly what they would say too.
Yeah. And like it was just so much. And Paulie wasn't around, little Paulie. He was I think they were at the beach, down Revere Beach, Paulie and Jeannie and the other kids.
But what about
And Ryan was around.
so people are saying Paulie was in the house. So we have Margot on. She
No,
said
Ryan went in the house. Ryan went in the house with his what are they're not roller skates,
yeah,
but rollerblades on.
rollerblades, yeah.
And that, like I said, later on when we're all talking, that was about the time that Virginia heard the bump, 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 bump. So it sounded like Ryan coming down the stairs wearing the
Rollerblades.
skates,
Yeah. Right.
and Virginia's water pressure was gonzo. It was because the sink in Janet's downstairs bathroom was running full blast. That's why Virginia was getting lousy water pressure.
So what do you think? You think that Adi took a shower before he left that house?
I think Artie originally washed up there. I think he took a shower. No, I don't think anybody even went to the second floor to look.
Wait a minute. There's a
But I
second
think
floor.
he originally washed up in the downstairs
So wait a
bathroom.
minute. There's a second floor shower,
Yeah, there's a bathroom on the second floor too. Yeah,
and nobody went to that second floor.
the one on the first floor was just like a half bath. There was a sink and a toilet.
Okay. Wow.
So I mean, Artie's a big galoot. He wouldn't fit in the sink.
So wait a minute. So he's a big. So let's talk about that. How big was he back then? Could you mistake him for Eddie?
Oh no, he wasn't as big as the little Ed. No,
But he was a big
no,
guy.
he wasn't that big. And but in the weeks following all of this, he followed me everywhere I went. If I would, as soon as I came home from work, the cab would be there, parked on Hamlet Street or parked in Janet's driveway, and he would follow me no matter where I went. It got to be kind of a joke because I'd go up to little Ed's house to speak to the lawyers. They'd say, "Okay, when you get home from work, come up to the house and, we want to talk and blah, blah, blah. And they'd be looking out the window and say, okay, Gina just pulled up. Now watch. The cab will show up. And sure enough, the cab would show up.
So basically, he was
And then one night,
he was monitoring the whole situation. Basically, he didn't
he
want
was following me wherever I went in that cab. And one night, my daughter, who worked at DeSells, the one that was she was 17 at the time. She worked at DeSells in Porter Square, and her friend couldn't come pick her up. She got out of work at 9:00. So she called, and I said, all right, I'll be there to get you. I went out the door, got in the car, and who's following me but the cab all the way to Porter Square? And like I said, I'm old school. I never gave a rat's ass if the kids put on a seatbelt because I grew up without them.
Yeah, so didn't I.
And when
So didn't I.
when Danny got in the car, I said to her, put your seatbelt on. And she looked at me like I had two heads because I had never told her to do that before. And I said, Artie's right. I said, see the green cab right there? She said, yeah. I said, that's Artie. I said, I don't know what, if anything, he's going to pull on the way home.
So were you
So
scared?
put your seatbelt on. Actually, no. I wish I kind of wanted a confrontation with him because I wanted to knock his teeth out.
Right.
But that never happened. I never got that opportunity. But the day of the
So let me ask you.
verdict.
Let me back you up, Gina, real quick. Let me hold that thought. So your daughter's in the background. I can hear her talking, right? So she remembers
Yeah,
this. She remembers them following you and all that.
Oh yeah, she remembers Artie following. Yeah.
And what's there? What was there?
Because
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
because of the seatbelt thing. I mean, she was like, "Why?" Yes, she's here too. Yeah.
Now I can hear you in the background. So he was real creepy, sweetie.
Yeah, he asked you if he was real creepy. Artie, he asked you if Artie was real creepy.
He was creepy, but I mean, I knew him from growing up, knowing him. But he was a creep.
Yeah, he was a creep. She said.
Right. Well, there we go. So let's talk about the
And,
verdict. You were saying something about the verdict.
The day of the verdict, they wanted us to leave in the freight elevator, and we said no. We're walking out that front door. We're not skulking out the freight elevator. And so we did. And Trisha's brother-in-law, Gary, had a hold of my arm. And of course, the press was everywhere. And he said, listen to this lady. She was with Janet the whole time. And that's when Trisha said, Artie Ortiz killed Janet Downing. And the next thing you know, I got a letter and Trisha got a letter from a lawyer that Artie was going to sue us.
For defamation.
Yeah. So I called the lawyer back and I said, I am thrilled. I am so thrilled. I said, I want to be able to get on the stand and tell my story, and I can do that in civil court. So please, let's rush this through.
Yes.
And then we never heard another thing.
Never heard another fucking thing.
Nope.
Nope. So let's go back to that night, right? So he walks up and he has the weed. So he's the weed man. He sold weed, I take it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he's smoking weed with your daughters, right? And
yeah, if I had known that that's what they were conniving to do up on the third floor, I would have said no. But
right. So he's up there, and what was up with the keys? What was his demeanor about the key? Was he nervous? Was he acting funny in hindsight?
Oh my God, he was out of his mind.
Really?
He just kept saying, I'm fucked. I am so fucked. I am fucked. And I said, what's your problem? I mean, fucked. Did you see all the blood? I saw the blood in the house. What do you mean you're fucked?
Right.
And he said, I can't find my keys. I can't find my keys. And he said, I know they're over in her yard somewhere. I said, well, the cop told you he'll find them. And like I said, things that were suspicious. There was so much chaos, they weren't suspicious that night. You know what I mean? We were too busy dealing with the immediate events right in front of us.
Exactly. You didn't have
It,
you
it,
wasn't
it,
thinking he, but
it
now you
didn't
know.
dawn on me right then.
Did you ever tell him? Did you ever get the chance to tell him that Janet was afraid of you? Did you ever get the chance to tell him that?
I didn't bother. I assumed he knew because I assumed she told him because she said there were different times that she would come home from work and tell him, get out.
Now
You don't belong here.
let me ask you this: he 100% got kicked out the house. Artie says he never got kicked out. He left because he got a sex.
That's what Janet told me. That's what Janet told me.
Okay.
And you know what? I'll take Janet's word over Artie's,
Right.
especially when with all the rest of the things she told me that day.
Now, what can you
I
tell
mean,
us
that
about
between
Janet?
the cab surrounding her and all of that, and him popping up with a book that belonged beside her bed, yeah, I believe
Well, let me.
her.
So you believe Artie did it?
Yeah, I do.
All right. So let's talk about the case for a second. So now you got Eddie. You know little Ed since he was a kid, right? Obviously, right?
Oh yeah,
And
since
so
birth. Yeah,
since birth. So Eddie
I
had.
knew his father. I knew his father from the time he was 6 months old.
Mm,
When his father was 6 months old.
you
So
knew you knew his
we go
dad
back
at
a long
6 months.
way.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's when they moved in to the house on Boston Street.
Mm,
Big Ed was 6 months old.
wow.
Ed's sister Joni was my age. We were friends.
Wow. Okay.
So that's you know, I changed Edward, Big Ed, diapers. That's how long I've known them.
Wow. That's awesome.
And Trisha
Are you still in that neighborhood?
lived down the hill. Lived at that time when we were kids. Trisha's family lived down the hill, and her brothers were the same age as my brothers, and they all hung out together. My mother used to call them, "Oh, here they come. Here's all the bandits together." That's what she called my brothers and Trisha's brothers.
Mm.
So they were the bandits because they were always into something. They were little kids, but they were always into something.
So she told you about certain instances like the windshield wiper fluid, and
Fluid, yep,
then the cat litter.
and the cooking oil that had perfume put in it.
Mhm. Now, when she was telling you
And
this, what was your mindset at that time? Were you thinking she
I
was
was
like,
like, "Oh my God, why didn't you tell me this before? Why didn't you come over and tell me this before?" What prompted her to come, and like I said in the first place, was worrying about her job. And then, like I said, it was so hot. We went from the porch to the den, from the den to the porch, it, trying to get cool somewhere.
let me ask you a question. How old were you back in 1996, if you don't mind me asking? How old was you?
Oh God, you're gonna make me do math.
Nah, I know. I'm trying to
I
get
was
an
born in
understanding.
1951. I
Okay,
was
so
born in 1951.
all right.
You
So
do the math.
yeah,
I
okay.
can't.
All right. All right. So you had some
I was
years.
an English major.
I hear you. So you had some years on Artie, and
Yes.
so
Yeah.
so all right. I'm just trying to figure out like like the way he was acting. Was he an immature guy? Was he a mature guy? Did he still think he was a teenager? He thought he was cool because he was around 30 years old. Like, what was his mindset? Because he was
Yeah.
he was messing with
Oh
the.
yeah. He was the cool guy with the kids. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was the cool guy.
yeah. So
He
oh,
was he was immature. He was very immature.
he was immature. So
Yeah.
do you? So he kept saying he was fucked. He was fucked. He was looking for the key, and a hundred
I am
percent.
so fucked. I am so fucked now. I am so fucked. And he was kept like patting his pockets and patting, looked like, yourself when you're looking for your keys. Where the hell did I put them?
Right.
And that's what he was doing. He was leaning against my car, which was parked in front of the house, And he kept patting his pockets and everything. And I am so fucked. I am so fucked. I said, what's your problem? And he said, I can't find my keys. I know they're in Janet's yard somewhere. I said, yeah, I know. You told the cop. The cop said he'd get them for you. Because, like I said, you weren't thinking things were suspicious at the time until it's like later on. Well, how did your keys? That's when it dawns on you. Well, how did his keys get in the yard? Why was he in the yard?
Right. So he said on this show, he said that he never seen Virginia that night. Virginia says that she came out the house, she took Ryan, put him inside the cruiser, turned him around when he came
Yeah.
walking in. She took his rollerblades off, and then he popped up, and he was in the front yard doing exactly what you said. He said he never seen Virginia, never seen her at all, never once.
Yeah, no, he did because I was sitting I went across the street and was sitting holding Ryan when Virginia came out and took him. Are you there?
Yeah, say that again. Say that again. I'm sorry, I'm here.
Because I heard like a beep beep. I don't know if that's the cell phone dying or what. I haven't got a clue. Ryan was sitting down crying, and I grabbed Ryan and I was hugging him. And that's when Virginia said, let me take him, Gina. I said, okay.
And let's
And
be
that's when
clear.
she sat him in the police.
And
And Artie was right there.
and Adi was right there.
Yeah.
And Adi was right there.
Yep.
Adi claims that never happened.
Oh, yeah, it did.
So I just want you
It
to
did.
I want you to understand that on this show that he said that never happened. He never seen Virginia, which means is he never seen you. But he did admit that he did talk to Ryan in the police car. So when he was talking to Ryan in the police car, you guys were there. You were present for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into what happened with Eddie. So now Eddie runs out the house, a guy with a knife, puts it to his neck, right? Now the story, right? Like let's face it, right? He gets convicted. We heard from Margot, she broke down the legalities of it, how the transfer hearing, how they wouldn't let your third party culprit come in and you come in on the transfer hearing, they denied it. And then his lawyer dropped the ball when they tried to get the presence of mind that she had that day, which she talked to you for like 6-7 hours or whatever it was, and the lawyer had the timeline wrong, so they never could
Not
get you.
only that, but when what's his name, Riley, put like the different kids on the stand and questioned the kids.
Yeah, what was that like?
He let them. Well, the questioning was, well, did Little Ed tell you this, and did Little Ed tell you that, and Little Ed said he saw the woman across the street in a red bra, and things like that, and so that was let in. But what Janet herself said to me was considered hearsay, that's another place where his lawyer screwed up. I mean, why is what Little Ed said months before to another kid
right
not hearsay, but what Janet herself said to me the day she was murdered was considered hearsay.
Right. Well, the thing is too, like they were going to let it in the presence of mind, but he said the judge said, oh, it was like you said, it was like a week before that, which it wasn't. It was that day, so they should have let it in.
It was that day.
Yeah, so he
exactly
got railroaded. But the story itself, though, how do you feel about the story? Eddie comes out the house. He says a guy pulls out a knife. He runs through the bushes. He goes to Burger King. From Burger King, he goes down to Union Square. He allegedly gets jumped, and then his hand gets cut. And then when did Eddie? Let me ask this question. I'm sorry. When did Eddie finally say he was in the house? How long after was that? Because that's a question.
Oh, it was quite some time because he was told. I think the lawyers told him, keep your mouth shut.
So he never mentioned that he was in the house. So my point is, why should we believe? And I'm saying this just to the audience. Like I said, we have 280 people watching.
You got to be the devil's advocate, darling.
Why?
I know.
Right. And listen, this DNA underneath the fingernail thing to me is like just run the goddamn DNA, and that would just be.
We've all been saying that.
Right. 30 years of it. Right. This is insane.
Yep.
So, but the point is, why in the public perception of it is he says he got jumped and he got cut in his hand. But when he goes in the store that he worked at Midnight Variety, he never mentions, hey, Janet was on the ground. You know, excuse me, on the dining room floor. He never says anything to his grandfather, to his father. Why do you think that? Like, if you could have any
I think
answer to
Artie
that.
threatened him.
So you
I think
think,
Artie threatened him. It
so
threatened his family.
do you think he knew it was Artie?
I think he might have suspected, but didn't know for sure
Now, what was
because
his?
Artie had his face covered.
So what do you think so was Artie? Did Artie scare these kids in the neighborhood? Were they kind of scared of him? Do you think?
I don't think he behaved threatening to them because they were his weed people. So I don't think he behaved threatening to the kids. So no, I don't think they were. I don't know about Janet's kids, Aaron, Ryan, and Polly. I don't know because I didn't live in the house with them, so I don't know. And they never said, but we never had that kind of a conversation with the kids. You know what I mean? I never had that kind of a conversation with the kids.
So you think that's the reason why he didn't say nothing? Because now let's keep in mind he had his sister. He had a 2-month-old baby in the house. Trisha just had a baby.
Yep, Megan.
He had
Megan.
he had a 2-year-old in the house, and his grandfather was
I think
dying.
the 2-year-old lived next door to them.
Who was the
That was
2-year-old?
their neighbor next door because everybody was on their porch.
Hmm.
And the 2-year-old was the neighbor John's kid next door to Edward.
But he had a
And
2-month-old
he
sister.
gave them a popsicle and he walked. Yeah, Megan was 3 months old. Yeah.
Huh. So that could be a reason why he
Megan,
didn't say anything. I mean, you got this little baby who just came into the world.
he
and
was
yet
terrified.
he was
I think he
terrified.
was terrified.
Mm.
Now, when they say, he ran out of that, when little Ed said he ran out of the house down the cellar stairs and out the door, so through the bushes there. I've been on those stairs. You just can't. They're steep. They're really steep, and they're open stairs. They're not closed. They're open, like a ladder type thing. And you can't start down those stairs before you get to the railing without putting your hands on at least one side of the wall for your balance.
Right.
You just can't do it. There was nothing there. If he had done that to Janet, I mean, come on, there was an ocean of blood there, an ocean of it.
Ocean.
He couldn't have stayed clean. And I have a size 8 shoe.
Yep.
I have to turn my feet sideways on those stairs, those cellar stairs.
Okay.
Take a size 15 shoe.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So his balance is going to be off anyway. He's going to have to touch something.
So this was
And
so
nothing.
you guys came up.
Nothing. There was absolutely nothing on his sneakers. Nothing.
Let's go
No.
back. Let's go back to August of 1995, 1 month after this happens, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back 30 years, August of 1995. Janet now has been gone for 1 month. You guys are just, you guys are processing it. You guys already went through the services. They already arrested Eddie. What is your mindset? Like the neighborhood, like is everybody saying Eddie didn't do it? Was that the mindset from the jump, from the start?
Yeah. Right from the giddy up. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there may have been one or two that I didn't know about, but right from Jump Street, Eddie didn't do that. And when the question of bail came up, I went around I went blocks and blocks and blocks around, and I got signatures. I got over 200 signatures saying that they were not afraid to have little Ed come home on bail. When we went into court, I don't know whether I can't tell you. I wasn't in court that day. I can't tell you whether the lawyers presented that to the judge or not. I'm assuming they did. But Riley had 2 anonymous pencil-written things saying they were afraid. The judge granted bail. So we were thrilled that little Ed was going to be home for Christmas.
So Riley in the Superior Court case, he's the one that tried the case. It was Riley?
Yeah, He tried that himself.
So what? Wait a minute. So fucking the DA of Middlesex County is the one who tried this case.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yep. And I'll tell you why. Well, this is my opinion why. The governor, what was his name? Howdy Doody there. Weld. The governor wanted to change the juvenile laws. And 3 months before Janet, a 17-year-old girl was murdered. It was Danny's best friend, my daughter Danny's best friend. And the DA stepped in and took that over. He was going to do that himself. He took the Somerville police right out of the picture. To this day, Deanna's murderer has not been found.
Yeah, and there was we talked to Margot last night. She's saying the same thing you're saying. So that happened about a month before.
They needed what they needed to get what they wanted politically was a kid that did a murder. That's what they needed. They need a murdering kid. They didn't, and they weren't going to look anywhere further. Like with just like with Deanna. Okay, well, we can't find a murdering kid. We can't hang it on a murdering kid. Let's move on.
Well, they wanted to revise the laws. They wanted to revise the laws.
Exactly.
Right? Because you remember them times.
And without
right?
it, that back then there was all this nonsense in the press about rambling, roving, murdering teenage gangs
super
and
predators.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, it was.
That's it.
It was
super predators.
Yeah,
that's what they were saying.
You know, that was during the times of the '90s of the gangs in Boston, and when all you crazy Somerville kids wearing the champion fucking shirts with the turtlenecks and the moccasins and the jabots, everybody was posseing up, fighting. It was a crazy time. Let's keep it real.
It was a crazy time.
It was a crazy time, but you know.
But what we didn't have here in Somerville was rambling murderers.
No, you didn't have that. No, you had a tight community in Somerville. The boys didn't mess
exactly.
around.
And like I said, back then everybody was old Somerville.
Yeah.
And okay, we'll knock you out.
Oh yeah.
It's that simple,
Them Somerville boys didn't play. They were in their scullies, man. You look at them the wrong way, they're punching you in the face. That's a fact.
Exactly. I mean, I would have had no problem decking Artie.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
So where is Artie from?
And my husband
is he a Somerville dude?
My husband used to say, I don't know if he was originally from Somerville, but he did live. I think he did live in the projects at one point when he was a kid. The Mystic Ave projects. I could be wrong on that. I could not swear to that, but
okay.
I believe so.
Is your husband
at some point?
Is your husband still alive?
No, my husband's been gone for 10 years now.
Oh, God bless him. God bless you, sweetie.
But he was like beside himself when they arrested little Ed.
Yeah, why don't you tell us what your husband was saying? Like, what was his mindset?
And Arthur was very quiet. Like I said, unless you asked him a direct question, he didn't discuss. He wouldn't discuss anything. He was Vietnam vet, so he kept shit stuff to himself. He kept it in his own head and in his own heart. And but it's like he wanted to, like, he'd read the paper and he'd be furious because of the way things were being presented. And he'd be furious and he'd say, they're trying to hang this kid for no reason at all. No reason at all. And I said, Arthur wasn't political in any way. And I said, there is a reason. They want to change the law, the juvenile laws. That's the reason. And of course, he'd look at me and say, oh, all right. And like I said, he didn't follow politics at all. And it was just, he would go nuts with the way the thing was presented, because the press made it look like there was a feud going on up here on Prospect Hill. Like there was Team Artie and Team Eddie. And there wasn't. We weren't like that. There was no problem between any of us. But that's the way the press made it look like there was this big
Division.
up here,
It's
and there
funny that
wasn't.
it's funny that you say that. A lot of people use that word, division, rah rah.
Yeah, exactly. And there wasn't. Like I said, I went up. I went from 3 Boston Street to 91 Boston Street and got signatures. I hit every single off street for blocks and blocks around. And because even people who didn't know Little Ed personally, following the newspaper and everything, still signed that they were not afraid to have him come home on bail.
Yeah, so
And
let's talk about that. So he goes through
I got over 200 signatures on that.
200 signatures. And so
Yeah.
now that's when it went to a transfer hearing, right? And that's when they were going to try
No, that was
before the transfer
it
hearing?
might have gone to the second one after that.
Well, I remember they gave him bail. The judge gave him the bail, right?
That was Judge Regina Quinlan. Yes, she
Quinlan
did.
gave him the bail, and then Riley steps in and kills it.
But she told Riley stepped up and he waved his 2 anonymous pencil written things that said they were afraid, and she gave him 24 hours to appeal it.
And he appeals it.
And that was the night I think the governor got on the thing. This guy isn't getting out. He's a murderer, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
And this guy, the kid was 15 years
15
old.
years old. 15 years old. And that right there is the beginning of the corruption of what we're talking about. This is so corrupted because they had their hands all in it. The fact that the fingernail, the DNA, it didn't come back and match Ed, but they never matched it up with anybody else.
But
Why?
but they wouldn't run it and match it.
Yeah, they wouldn't run it and match it.
And she had hair in her. She had hair in her hand.
She had
I
hair
don't
in her
think
hand.
they ever identified that.
Really? Now, how much hair? Did he have a lot of hair? Adi? Did he just?
Not really. No, neither he nor Little Ed had a lot.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, Adi had an inch or two.
Did he have a
on
hat?
on the top of his head?
So he
didn't. Not when he came over here. He didn't have a
So
hat.
when you seen him, his hair was wet, right? That's what you remember. His hair was wet.
Yeah, it was wet. Yeah, it was wet and it was combed.
So
it wasn't bedraggled like the rest of us.
Yeah, everybody else was just hanging out on the stoop, man, just grinding out.
Yeah, like I said, we looked like used toilet paper. We were all of us, every one of us.
That's that city life, baby. That's what we do, right?
And every porch was full of somebody who looked like they had just been through a sauna, you know?
That's all right.
Except for Artie. He was crisp and
well, here's the funny thing.
And shiny and clean.
Let me give you something what we were talking about. So, I'm from Lynn, but my father's from Somerville. It's funny, right? And I'll tell you that off air.
Yeah.
Name, you might know my dad, right? But yeah, so my father, and my grandfather, they're from Somerville, Charlestown. So that, I know about that area. But the point is, I used to go when I moved to Lynn, my journey started out in Revere. My mother was from the North End, met my dad from Somerville. You know how that shit goes, right? So, long story longer, my mother had a bunch of kids, and my dad was fucking up on the alcohol, so she needed somewhere to go. So she ended up in Lynn, right? Probably one of the worst mistakes she could go. But anyway, the city is sin. The city is sin, but she had to do what she had to do with 5 kids, if you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Right. So the point is, I learned the bus routes early on, and I always went to jumped on the the blue line, the orange line, and so I always used to go to Assembly Square Mall, because that's the mall we used to go to as kids Meadow Glen and Assembly.
Yeah, all the kids hung down there. Yeah.
So I remember the green cabs. I remember the green cabs out at the at the taxi
out in the
stand.
back there.
Yeah, out in the back. And I remember them green cabs, and them green cabs were beat up. I just remember them always being like beat up, shitty ass cabs, right? And
they were.
Right. So when we were talking about this, right, and we're going back 30 years, and we're trying to paint that. I'm 49 years old, so I was 19 years old at the time, right? So I have a clear.
Yeah. Now see, you're close to Danny's age.
Yeah.
Danny's 47.
So I have a clear, vivid memory of all this shit, right? Because this is my
Hmm.
heyday, right? These are the memories you latch on to, right? So
Yeah.
I was talking
You
to
were
my,
19.
uh,
Danny was 17. You were 19 when this
yeah.
took place.
So and I remember this. I remember this because something about Eddie. There's just something about him that once you see him, especially if you've seen him in that space and time, like that big baby face and how big he was, it just always
Yeah.
there's always that question, like he did that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, he didn't do that. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? It's been like that for 30 years, right? And I actually
Yeah.
seen him. I was in Cambridge jail with him. So what happened was I ended up in Cambridge jail in 1997, and he was working in the kitchen. Now I'm trying to figure out what he was doing there, but he was in the kitchen, and I remember he served me the pancakes, and I remember looking right at this dude, like just looked like, because he was in the papers every other fucking week. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Oh my God. Yeah.
and you're just looking at this big baby face dude. You know what I mean? He just stood out.
Yep.
He's got a presence about him. But the thing is, we
To this day, now little Ed is in his 40s now.
yeah.
To this day, even people he knows, he is such a shy kid. Even people he knows, when you say hi, honey, he gets his cheeks. He blushes so his cheeks get
Yeah.
apple red.
Yeah.
So to this day, he's still baby faced and shy,
Yeah, he still looks the
shy,
same.
shy kid.
He looks the
And he
same.
does still look the
He looks
same.
the same. He just got the gray
And he
hair
was
like the rest
always
of us.
self conscious about his weight. Always. Like if the kids were going to the pool, little Ed found something else to do. He
Yeah.
wouldn't go. You know what I mean?
No, there was always a friend in the pack that didn't want to go because back then some kids had the better genetics than other kids. They took off their shirt and some
Exactly.
kids look better
Yeah.
than others, right? And I get all that. But
Yep.
what I was saying, what just to jump back is that me and my co-host were talking about how Artie was saying that he went to South Station for a fair, right? And that he went to South Station, dropped someone off at the Peter Pan, and came back to Somerville in a heat wave in an old beat up green cab. And we're like, man, them cabs back then didn't have AC.
They
There's
didn't have AC.
right.
The upholstery wasn't even whole. There were holes all over the upholstery.
So now listen
I
to this.
mean,
Listen to this, Gina.
there was
This is
duct
gonna.
tape.
There was duct tape holding these fucking cabs together, right? Literally, right?
Exactly.
So we did a show on it. So we've been covering this now for about 2 weeks, right? And honestly, I've been covering the Eddie O'Brien case for like years with my friends. Like we always talk about this case. Like he comes up like at least twice a year. Like we'll bring him up. Like, hey, remember when that happened with the kid Eddie? Do you guys think he did it? We heard he's trying to get an appeal or this and that. And like certain things would pop up on the internet, and we would say, hey, but
Yeah.
now it just the timing was right, and I did a deep dive into it, and I'm glad I did. But let me just say this. Me and my co-host, we were talking about how beat up the cabs are. So then we get Adi on the show. Now I give Adi the credit. Adi came up on the show. He had, he jumped right on. Yeah, he didn't care how many people were in the chat, and he spoke his piece to his innocence, right?
Yep.
So I give him that. You got to give him that. But one thing he did is that he said right from the jump that when I said to him, "Well, why'd you come walking up so fresh and so clean?" Right? And everybody else
Yeah.
was, on the stoop just sweating. He said, "Oh, because I
Yep.
was I was in the AC. I was in the AC. I was in car number 42. It had the AC. I was chilling out. I was cool, calm, and collective." And I said, "Yeah." And I asked him, I said, "Well, that's kind of funny that you're mentioning the AC because about 3 shows ago, I mentioned the AC. Did you ever see any of my shows?" He goes, "No, I never did." And I find that to be bullshit. I think he did
Oh
watch.
yeah, he watches everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that
He's
that's the
even got
first.
his own little thing on Facebook that Ortiz Pride or something like that. So
Yeah.
he watches everything. I've got him blocked because he drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, he calls you a liar, and he says that it's just a click, and that you guys are just like, and last night I think that we got through to him, and he's probably going to watch this on the replay. But we basically said, so we have this lawyer, a friend of the show. Her name's Nan Gallagher. You guys can Google her. Your daughters can Google her and show you who she is. And she offered to pay for the DNA and the polygraph for Artie. And Artie at first turned down the DNA. He said, no, why should I do it? I already gave the DNA. Magro said last night that they do have his DNA, but Nan Gallagher said, well, we'll get some new DNA, if, whatever. And he turned it down at first. But then last night he hit one of my people who work for my show that's been doing behind the scenes, Jay Brilliant, the one who hit you up, that found your number. Great guy, great kid. He hit him up, Artie, and said that he would take the DNA, some new DNA. But that's here nor there, because they're going to have to go through the appellate court to get that DNA ran. That's how I'm taking.
Exactly.
So regardless of the matter. But Gina, we have your phone number. We have your daughter's phone number. If you want to come back on the show again and speak on this for, to kind of like go over it again, maybe in time, if you want to jump on, we would love to have you back. You're great. You're awesome. Because I'm sure Artie's going to want to speak to this. And then we kind of.
Oh, I'm sure he is, darling. I'm sure he is.
I would love to, if he says anything, I would love to hear, your response. So if we can have you back, that would be great.
If you call me, I'll answer.
I appreciate you, Gina. Listen, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, okay? And God bless you, girl, okay?
Thank you, darling. You too. You stay safe and stay well.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Keep at it.
I will. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, honey. Thank you.
Bye. Gina, ladies and gentlemen. Gina, ladies and gentlemen. Gina. Wow. What a gem. Beautiful lady. I love it. I love talking to the old schools. I love it. Boomer love. I love it. Makes me feel good. Makes me feel happy. I love respecting my elders. I love the people that came before me. I love everything about it. I love her. I think she's sincere. Why would she lie?
Static selector.
I need everybody in the chat right now to make Gina feel at home, because we know her daughters are watching. And how you guys doing from the JFK live stream? Thank you for coming on, Gina. I need everybody to put their peace signs up. I need you to throw them up for Gina right now. Let's go. Peace signs up for Gina. At the end of that phone call, appreciate everybody with the peace sign, Gina. At the end of that phone call, I could hear the pain in your voice. The pain in your voice, because you try to tell them. You try to tell them, listen, I know what happened. I know what I seen. I know what I heard. I know the energy that I felt 30 years ago. I know what it was. I seen it. I didn't see it at the time that night. In the moment, I didn't see it. But the next day, I realized I put the pieces together. Why is this guy... What's up with the key? And why is his hair wet? And why is he acting so out of place? The weed man. Artie the weed man. The weed man. How much did you get for a half ounce back then? $60 back then, Artie? $120 for an ounce. The weed man, Adi, the one-man party at the green cab. He didn't want no one to fuck up his hustle. When you start hustling drugs, and I know weed is, obviously at the time it was illegal, but now it's legal and it's who cares? I get all that. But the thing is money. Money makes your mind flip. You fucking with my money? Oh, really? Where's my money? People do a lot of things for the paper. They do things for the paper trail. Where is my money? Right, Adi, the one man party? Gives you a certain type of attitude when people are fucking with your money, especially when you have a little stash spot, right? At your sister in law's house. Perfect. You work in the suburban cab. That's the little stash spot. And you know the rules, Adi, right? Never keep your money and your drugs in the same place you rest your head at. Because if you get busted, they're going to get all your shit. So you know better. Right, Adi? Did someone find your stash? Someone fucking up your money? Someone fucking up your hustle, your moves? What happened? What's the motive? If it was you, Adi, I don't know. I'm just saying. Weed, it's not the weed. It's not a dangerous thing. But if you're going to sell weed, why not sell coke? It's faster. 8-ball. Back then, you could buy an 8-ball of coke for $100. You could sell a gram for 50. You're probably getting about 7 grams out that 8-ball because you're not going to sell full grams. You're going to sell half a gram. Right? Just rob people for $40. You're in the cab. You got the clientele, instant clientele. You're in the cab. You drive the green cab, bro. You're in Somerville. You getting everybody in the cab. You have the perfect cover. You have a dispatcher. You have a scanner. And you got clientele jumping in and out your cab at the bar. What are you guys doing tonight? Huh? What are you guys going to the bar? You gonna drink? You guys are gonna get high on that coke, huh? You know where I can get any? No, we've been looking. Hold on, I got some. Easy money, isn't it? Perfect. Perfect. Right, Adi? Them were the good old days. Slanging, Adi. Good for you. Congratulations, Adi.
How y'all feel out there? Oh yeah. All right. Check this out. It's the place to be, as it is plain to see. He is DJ
Static Selector.
and I am 3, 2, 1.
What is wrong?
What is wrong with the world today? 30 years ago, the corruption. Thomas Riley, no different than Morrissey. Tried the case. Made sure that he didn't get out on bail. Made sure, had 24 hours to put an appeal in. Wouldn't let the hearsay of GINA come in. The frame of mind that Janet was in. Hours. At 5 o'clock, she left GINA. Saying, pounding her fist, if anything happens to me, investigate, investigate, investigate. She made a pound sign, put it in her palm, investigate, investigate, investigate. Hours before she gets stabbed 98 times. She didn't say investigate Eddie O'Brien. No. She was talking about cabs that were green. Green cabs that were held together by duct tape. Pieces of shit. But Adi last night on the stream said, no, they were Crown Vics. They were from Florida. AC, blasting. I was cool to the cucumber. AC worked great. I don't remember anything else, but I remember that AC was cold as shit. Ironic. Because no one thought about that, huh, Adi, about that AC. Your man JFK thinks about these things because I know about them slant six Valaris, Plymouth ship boxes that they had back then. I don't know if they converted to the Crown Vic or they had the Caprice. I don't know what type of fleet they had in that present time. And you could be right. You could have been in the AC. I don't know. Be clear. You could have been in the AC. The only problem with that is that when I asked you if you listened to any of my show, you said no, but yet you led with the AC. Either that's a coincidence that you led with I was cool in the AC, the same line of questioning me and Kevy Kev 781 on the Cash App were talking a couple of days before. Either that's just a pure coincidence that we're thinking the same thing, or you watched the show, said, wow, I didn't think of that. Let me make sure I cover that up real quick because that's what people do. They got to cover shit up. And I get all that. So maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe you were in a Crown Vic, an Interceptor, straight from the state trooper barracks, or a Caprice, one of them old school ones that look like the Impala SS's. And maybe it did have AC, and maybe it was blowing cool as shit. And you remember that vividly. But you don't remember. But the thing is, what gets me is you said you came down the highway from the Peter Pan to Somerville. Now, if you were in the Crown Vic or the Caprice, you probably would remember going down that highway in that motherfucking Interceptor, wouldn't you? In that Crown Vic Interceptor with that 5.0 in it, with that Interceptor with about 380 horsepower. You wouldn't have remembered that with the posi rear end? Boom, boom, boom. You wouldn't have remembered that? But you remember the AC? Huh? Huh? You sure it was a Crown Vic? Huh? Did you think you was a cop? When you were driving down 93, did you think you were the police when you were in that Crown Vic? Because let's keep it real, Adi. When you're driving in that Crown Vic, you think you're a fucking cop, right? You feel like you're a cop. Look at me. I'm in the Crown Vic. Woo, 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 woo. You don't remember getting up to 100 real fast, 380 horsepower in that Interceptor, boy. Them Crown Vics got up there, boy. Them Crown Vics had dips. They used to catch up to the Stangs, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bugging. But these are just the inconsistencies. The Mustang Interceptor you couldn't drive in the rain. Hell no. These are the inconsistencies. But you didn't think about that though, right? Because you did say you got on the highway after hearing something happened to Janet. You remember the AC, but you don't remember that Interceptor engine, that Interceptor. Because I asked you, how fast were you going? And you didn't say, man, I was in the fucking Crown Vic. That Interceptor, man, I probably got from South Station to the exit in like 3 minutes. I was gunning that shit. I had to watch out because it gets up to 100 fast. Because they were brand new. Keep in mind, people, this is 1995. This is the first time they were getting them type of cars. Prior to that, they had all these piece of shit little Dodge, little 6 cylinders with the slant six. They were shaking, running on, misfiring and shit. Blue smoke. Them Interceptors, engines were strong. Big 8 cylinders, man. These things whipped. Whipped. We're going back 30 years. 30 years. That's what sticks out to me. That's what sticks out to me. I love you too. This case is the best stream you have ever done. Great job, JFK. Thank you so much. Epags, my girl. Boomer love. Epags, what up, girl? JFK, ask her about Paul and Janet's relationships. How felt as a person. She's still suffering Janet's death. Love her humor. I think I covered that. Thank you, Unforgettable. We're going to have you up soon. We could talk about it. Does Gina think Eddie did it? No, absolutely not. She gifted Paula 10 JFK memberships. Wow, thank you so much. Is it Paula? Yeah, it's Paula. Sorry, guys. Thank you so much. Zelda. This is the woman, right? That reads the cards and shit. What up, Zelda? How you doing? Man, maybe we need to get you up here to read some cards, man. This is Zelda, right? I seen her. She does live. She reads cards, right? What up, Zelda? Thank you so much for the 50. That's her, right? Yeah, maybe get up here, read some cards, man. Talk about this case, man. Different perspective. I don't know. Thank you, Zelda. Denise, 14.99. Thank you so much. That's Denise, right? Yeah. We got a big 20 coming in for Blind Spot Top Flight Security of the World. Adi, you brought up a too quick. Okay. Thank you so much, Blind Spot. Sugar with $5. Much respect to you, JFK. Be a hard working hot. I appreciate it. We working too. Yeah, Zelda is a queen. She's amazing. Let me know. For sure, Zelda. I'm going to have my mods reach out to you. Definitely collab on some stuff. Why not? Have Gina back up. Maybe do something with Gina on the phone. Me, you, Gina. Have her up here. Try to tell her daughters how to get a link. Figure out to get her up here on a link so we all can talk to her. Because this Google Voice, if I have guests, they can't talk. You can hear her, but you can't talk. I want everybody. I think we need I'm so happy that Gina said that if we call, she'll answer. So I love the fact that she, her honesty. I don't see where she's lying. Like why would she lie? She's in her she's like almost 80 years old, right? She was born in 51. That's like she's creeping on 80, right? Am I right? I mean, why would you lie? There's no need to lie in your 8th level of life. You brought up that AC too quick, Adi, for sure. She's 74. Okay, sorry. I'm aging her out. I'm sorry. She's not 80. She's not 80. I'm sorry so much. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Gina, again. 74, mid 70s, 74. Yeah. God damn. She's still young, for sure. She's definitely still young. She's still sharp as a tack. Great woman. I can't wait to meet her when I get to Boston. Trust and believe. You're going to see JFK and Gina talking, having a coffee. Best believe that. 100%. I got to meet Gina. These are the people I love. These are my type of people, man. Real people. Not these people who set narratives and make it all about themselves. Like real people that know real shit, man. That been affected by real shit and have compassion. You could tell she's a compassionate person. She lost her husband. She lost her daughter to drugs. She lost her friend to a murder. She was a hardworking woman through the 90s and the 80s, working at Verizon. Like these are the type of people you gotta love. Woman, strong woman. That did for her family. Her kids are still right there with her. Like, Mom, hold on. Let me call on the cell phone, Mom. Like, I love that. I fucking love that. I love that. Happy Sunday. Thank you, Rose McDonald. Rosanna. And be clear, people. I'm not trying to create a community, this little thread or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to overuse these words and terms. I just don't want to create a bashing of Artie. But these are questions. We don't know if Adi did it. We don't know. All we know is there's DNA underneath the fingernail that never been tested. Test it, we find out who did it. We find out the DNA. And she said there was hair in her hand. So we find these things out. We find out some things. Period. Point blank. End of the story. I'm sure you can find that out. Well, listen, long gamers. You guys can have your opinion, but I appreciate every last one of y'all, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in with me, having brunch with your boy J.F.K. Peace and love. I need y'all to hit the subscribe. You guys can leave a super thanks in the comments if you would like after the show. It was the summer of 1995. Peace to GINA, Jay Brilliant. We got more coming. Thanks to all my mods. Peace and love.
Yeah. Yo. Summer of 1995, hot night in July. Why did Janet have to die? This is the story of Eddie, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The system is petty, juvenile law and politics so deadly. 15 years old, known as Big Lovable Teddy. Janet Downing, 42 years old, what's the motive? Killed in her home, young mother devoted. Eddie went in the house, the door was open. She was on the kitchen floor, laying there frozen. Eddie claims this was not what he planned to see. A man with a mask grabbed him. Be quiet. I will kill your whole family. Eddie left the house, ran up the street. Around the corner, washed up in the bathroom at Burger King. Janet was stabbed multiple times. Rest in peace. It was a gruesome murder scene. I agree. Eddie went to his work, said he got jumped, but never said a thing. What? About Janet lying there lifeless, his friend's mother from across the street. Shh, he was in the house. But Janet had a brother-in-law she kicked out for selling drugs. Said if anything ever happened to her, it's him you bring up. The night of the murder he showed up, was acting suspicious in the front yard. Gina in Virginia says he was looking for his keys. It was humid and muggy, but we were showered and neat. He was a cab driver looking for his key. Looking for a key to one of the cabs in the fleet. Yes. How did he know something happened on that street? Eddie says he is innocent, and the cab driver did it.
Who do you believe?
Believe.
DNA under Janet's fingernail, unidentified. Who do you believe?
Come on, come on.
This is the story of Eddie, 15 years old.
Life in prison.
This is the story of Janet, life taken and stolen.
For no reason.
It was the summer,
July 1995.
do you all remember?
30 years ago, why she have to die?
15 years old, locked in a cage, a murder that he always denied.
Let's go. Summer of 95. Life goes by. Welcome to the stream, long gamers. Peace and love. La la la. Let's take them back.
They can't blind your vision, cover these clear mornings. Days fly by, let's make another year for it. Struggling and stressing, brother, but you here for it. Life sends you in a tailspin without no real warnings. Sat on the porch all night, damn, I used to rip flows. All the girls you stared at, yeah, I used to get those. And chicks started smoking crack, now the kids are all schizos. Another day in the hood, homie, you know how that shit goes. You ever look at a calendar, be scared to count it? He never did a day of time, so we rap about it. Real ones traumatized, we could do without it. System is rigged, they got us surrounded. They talk shit, brown nose, they are in your business. Be your close ones, boast fun, show interest. At your front door, ghost guns, load of switches. For a Rolex, leave you dead, no witness. Let's go. We just trying to live, please leave us alone. We fighting for justice, we trying to make it home. From Proctor to Mulligan in the combat zone. They killed Jigga right in front of the stove. No more sitting for summers, just trying to change our ways. Lost his sting, but that sensation stays. Chasing validation, I can see the hate in their face. He is scared he gonna die, history reading today. welcome to the street. We be Keith, James, Jackson, J.F.K.